and welcome to the fourth installment of Demystifying Your Transition. We are thrilled to have you back. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, Demystifying Your Transition is a series of workshops that was conceived by Louise Anderson, our Veteran Family Program Coordinator. And the thought that she had in coming up with this is the release process itself. And I think in a lot of cases, the member has heard about this, they are going to the meetings, they are understanding the process and getting the information firsthand. But oftentimes, for the family member, it's a little bit more of a question mark, and they're not entirely sure where they can go for information or where they can go to ask questions if they have them. So she came up with this series of workshops, and we're talking to different partners in the process and asking them about the services that they provide, and maybe giving you some information and some thoughts about where you can go if you have questions or concerns about the 3B release program as a partner or as a family member of someone who is releasing. Before I go ahead and introduce the two panelists, I would like to let people know this is a recorded session, so you are probably watching this after it is being recorded. If you have any questions or anything that you would like to follow up on, please don't hesitate to call us. Louise is always available, and she'd be happy to connect you with Lindsay or one of the other folks at OSISS or any of our partners if there's anything you need. So please don't feel that if you're watching a recorded session of this, there's no way for you to follow up with questions. We are always here, and we are happy to do that for you. Actually, I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves. Lindsay, do you want to start off and introduce yourself and who are you from?
Sure, yeah. I am Lindsay Trimble. I am a family peer support coordinator with the OSISS program out of the Transition Center at Garrison Petawawa. I have been in the position for the past 5 years, minus 2 maternity leaves. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and my husband is currently transitioning out of the military, medically releasing this June. So I'm right here with you going through the process myself.
So you're living it as the questions come. Louise, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Louise Anderson. I'm the Veteran Family Program Coordinator with the Petawawa Military Family Resource Center. My dad had an OSI after he served in Korea. So as a child, I know what some family members might be going through.
Okay, so let's just start with you, Lindsay. You talked about OSISS. Can you tell us what OSISS is and who your clients are at OSISS?
Yes, OSISS stands for Operational Stress Injury Social Support. This year actually marks the program's 20th anniversary. Our clients, who we call peers, are soldiers and veterans who have an operational stress injury or who think they might, and those who live with them or support them, so close friends of them or family members, including spouses, adult children, parents, or siblings. Ideally, OSISS is one of the first supports in place when someone is noticing a change and wondering if there may be an underlying operational stress injury. We are here to listen and connect you with the appropriate supports. And we have no obligation to the chain of command. We are obligated to maintain confidentiality and protect the information that peers provide.
I think one of the important points I picked up on when you were talking about is you're talking about someone who has an OSI or someone who thinks they might. So family members and members can reach out to you even if they don't have a diagnosis. They can still reach out to you and get that information and support.
That's right. Yeah.
So you talked about use words like peers and support. Can you talk about what that means and why that approach is beneficial for the members and families?
So OSISS coordinators are hired because of our experience as a veteran with an operational stress injury ourselves, or because of our experience supporting a soldier or a veteran with an operational stress injury. I happen to be a veteran myself, but my experience is supporting my spouse with his generalized anxiety disorder, which is an operational stress injury. It's an umbrella term that we use, and I'm sure we've covered it in other videos, but definitely more falls under there than just PTSD, which people are more familiar with. but we all have various backgrounds as coordinators, but it's our life experience that makes us knowledgeable in mental health. It's peer support because we are at the same level, just at a different place along the mental health journey. We have or are still walking the path, have taken missteps, discovered tools that work for us, put in the work, all the therapy, the physical activity, the mindfulness, and we know how to maintain wellness. We understand the struggles and will walk with you through yours, listening without judgment, suggesting resources and sharing ideas on wellness and recovery. There is a quote that I think says it best. For those who understand, no explanation is necessary. For those who do not understand, no explanation is possible.
So it's that whole idea of someone who gets it, someone who has been there. And so often I find that military and veteran families, oftentimes if they're the only military or veterans in their families or in their circle, the people who they are dealing with don't understand the lifestyle, don't understand the challenges in the same way as someone who sort of walked that path and gets it. And maybe sometimes if they've been on it a little bit longer, they can give you that advice or that, this is what's worked for me in a different way than someone who's just understands it as a theory, rather than those who have lived it. Louise, partners like OSISS are so important. Can you talk about OSISS and what that partnership is and how your clients can benefit from reaching out to a partner like OSISS?
Our partners are very similar in that mine are medically released veterans, medically released CAF members, and their families. I love OSISS because it's both sides of the coin. There's a part for the member themselves or the veteran, and then there's the part for the family. So even if the veteran isn't at a place yet where he can reach out for help or he feels like he needs it, the family can reach out for support and help them to manage and learn ways of maybe bringing their spouse or partner to being able to realize that they do actually need help. We attend each other's forums, we attend each other's outreaches, we work together as a team. We believe in the same things. We don't do the same things, but if somebody comes to me, I will make the referral to Lindsay. And if somebody comes to Lindsay, she will also make the referral to us. The other piece that I wanted to mention, which I think is very important, is that sometimes while the member is still serving, the spouses have reached out to Lindsay and they're also using our mental health services. Once the member releases, Lindsay can direct them to me so that we can register them as a veteran family program, and their path on our mental health side of the house is seamless. They don't have to quit and find somebody else because their member is no longer in the military. So I think that's it's kind of it in a nutshell.
So you can be working with OSISS and be working with VFP at the same time.
Yes. Oh,
perfect.
Yes, for sure. I think the more players you have on your team, the better off you're going to be.
Perfect. Lindsay, I find that people in the military, and I think we all can agree to this, they're a little bit more mobile. And sometimes as people are making those transitions, they are thinking about moving to another area, maybe closer to home, maybe closer to family. If a family member or a member has worked with OSISS in one community and they are moving, is it game over for them, or how would they be able to sort of transition that support?
Yeah, just notifying their coordinator that they're already connected with. OSISS is a national program and there's coordinators across the country. So when you're moving, then your current coordinator can do a handover to the coordinator in that area. And whether the peer would like that coordinator to make the first contact, or if they just want that information, and then later that coordinator will follow up with their old coordinator to get transferred in the database where we just keep literally their contact information, then it can be very seamless. And if the peers that enjoy group support, it's a really great way to get connected with other veteran families in that new area. And also the coordinator in that area is very knowledgeable in the supports and services available in the community. So it's a great way if you need to get connected with therapy or whoever it is, whether it's a youth program that you need for your child or whatever it is, the coordinator can be a really good resource to make that referral or show you where the supports are in the community.
Can I just ask how those connections happen? Are they office visits face to face? Is it phone calls? Is it online Zoom, stuff like this? How do you connect with clients? Or is everybody different?
Yeah, everybody's different, whatever they're comfortable with. So right now we're not able to do face to face because of COVID, but hopefully that will change again soon. We've kind of been back and forth with it this past year, and whether we meet in a coffee shop or on a hiking trail or at somebody's kitchen table, wherever they're comfortable in having that conversation, it all depends who's in their home and whether or not they're in that, where they are in that headspace of being able to get out in public or be active. And we love to be like literally walk alongside our peers to encourage them to do those self-care activities, get outside and get fresh air, and we'll join them. We'll go to the gym with them or whatever, so that they're doing something healthy for them while having the support of somebody that understands, even if there's not a lot of words exchanged that day.
Sometimes you don't need those words, right? It's just that connection. And that's, I guess, the beauty of that peer relationship. Louise, the same question, I guess, if someone starts working with you in the Veteran Family Program and they decide that they want to do their last move and go to a different community, how can you make that transition happen for them?
Very close to what Lindsay just said. It depends on what they want, what they need. There's 32 Veteran Family Program coordinators across the country. One's embedded in every MFRC. If they want the contact information, I can give them the contact information and then call the coordinator at their new location and let them know that they're coming. Or I can take their contact information, give it to the coordinator at their new location, and then set up a time based on what their needs are, what their moving schedule is and everything for the coordinator to reach out to them. So that's not something that they have to remember.
So in both cases, there is that area of that element of control. The client can decide if they want to be the ones to take the first step, or if they want someone to contact them. They have that choice when they make that transition. Lindsay, can you talk to me a little bit about components of support and what that means?
Yeah, so just Louise mentioned it earlier that there's the family support side and the soldier or veteran side. And each side is completely separate. So I'm a family peer support coordinator, and then we have our peer support coordinator for the soldier or veteran. And we offer different support groups. And within the support groups, we would be discussing completely different perspectives. And bring in, on the family side, I know I like to bring in a lot of guest speakers to really educate on different aspects of operational stress injuries and relationships and communication and all of that goes with all that goes together. We do not know if our peer spouse is part of the program on the other side of the program. So coordinators, we don't discuss peers, and there's no requirement for the soldier or veteran to register for the program in order for the family to get access to the program. So the spouse or parent, whoever on the family side, could come to OSISS without the soldier or veteran even knowing. It's completely in their control if they want to tell them, and we make sure we understand that communication as well, like when the best time is to call them if they would like a call, and if we can leave a voicemail or not, and even in the subject line of our emails, like kind of how to identify ourselves, what that person's comfortable with.
So if sometimes, the member is not ready to talk yet, and they're sort of not at the point where they want to sort of take that step and reach out for the support, but the family is. So a family member can contact you and get the support on that family side, and they don't need to have permission. The member themselves doesn't have to know. When each person's ready, they can take that step.
Exactly.
The other point that you sort of mentioned in passing, and I just wanted to pick up on, is the idea of the parents of members, because so often parents sometimes feel that disconnection. They may not live in the same community as the member, and they may even feel one step removed from the process, and they have questions and need that support. Because it's a national organization, the parents can reach out to someone close to them. They don't even necessarily have to be in the same community as the member. If the member is say in Petawawa, but the parents are in Edmonton, they can reach out to the OSISS group there.
Yes, definitely.
Perfect. So how does someone get a hold of you if they want to take advantage of the support, peer support? How would someone get a hold of OSISS either here or in their community?
Yeah, so the best way, we just revamped our website. So just www.osiss.ca. And you just go to the website and request contact with a coordinator. Just fill out the little bit of information there, and the coordinator in Ottawa will then contact the coordinator in that person's local area, and we'll reach out to that person within 48 hours and start the conversation. We are still working from home, as I said, but hopefully we'll be able to set up meetings soon. And we have been doing virtual meetings and virtual groups and all of that fun stuff, but definitely missing the in-person.
Everyone's virtual nowadays. It seems everyone sort of has that one step removed and talking through a screen, but eventually we're going to come back to face. Louise, I guess it's the same question. How do people find you if they want to talk to you?
Basically, it's easiest to, there's no wrong door at the PMFRC. You can connect with the PMFRC. Whatever number you call, they will know how to get a hold of me. It's easiest right now to get a hold of me through my email.
So we are going to have those both the website for OSISS and Louise's email in the caption here above the video, above or below, depending on where you're watching. So you'll be able to find that information pretty easily. I'm going to throw one last question that we didn't prepare for, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. If you were able to sit down with somebody who was maybe struggling right now, going through that release process and not entirely sure where to go, if you were able to give them to one piece of advice, what would it be? I'm going to start with you, Louise, because you're not the guest, and because we'll give Lindsay a chance to think about her advice first. What piece of advice would you give to folks?
Just reach out and ask the question. I might not be the person that you need to talk to, but I'll be able to direct you where you need to go. I think the other important piece is to realize that you're not alone. There are so many people out here really wanting to help you, and whatever your concern is, whatever your struggle is, there's someone that can help you. And remember that you may not need help right away, but later on down the road, you may come up against a wall that you can't get around or under or over, and you can still reach out. We're our service and OSIS's service, we're not time limited, so there's definitely no time that you cannot access help.
Perfect. Lindsay, do you have any advice that you'd like to give to a client or someone who is who's struggling right now?
Kind of the same. It's the best advice is just to have the conversation. You don't know what you don't know until you are there, and you don't know what questions to ask. And I find I am a questioner and I love to have all the answers, but half the time, like, I don't know what to ask and who to ask it. So that just whoever you feel comfortable in talking to and asking the questions, like, we are all in the helping industry where we want to connect you with the right person and find those answers for you. So wherever that conversation needs to start, just let people know. Don't be afraid to tell your story. Own your story, and share your plans or your hopes. And they don't always go the way that you think they might or you're hoping for, but share that journey with somebody else, because there's lots of us that understand. Lots of bumps in the road.
I love what you said about you don't know what you don't know. And I think that was one of the things that Louise really thought about when she was putting these videos together. I mean, if you don't know about OSISS, you don't know what questions to ask about how to hook up until you find out about it. And if you wanted to contact with Louise, we have a couple of archive videos. We have one video where we talk about the emotional and psychological effects of a transition and leaving the military post-service life, and some of the things that you might expect as a member going through that process, but also something you might expect as a family member, because that transition is such a big one for so many people. We also have a video about the entire VFP program and the services that are available. And again, unless you know about them, you're not going to ask for them and you're not going to take that first step. And the other one, the third video we have in the series, is about finances and just talking about some of the things that you may want to be thinking about as you move into that transition, some of the questions that you want to be asking as a family, but also asking some of the professionals that you might be doing your financial planning, either at your bank or at SISSA. What are the things that you need to be thinking about, and what changes and arrangements might you want to be making as your life circumstances change? And I guess the other thing that I wanted to sort of mention is, if you are watching this video and you are going through a transition and there is a topic you think, oh, I wish they would talk about this because I have so many questions, let us know. Let us know. We would love to find that out, do a little bit of research and put a video together for that. So thank you so much, Lindsay and Louise, for joining us. If you have any questions, please feel free to add them to the comment section. If it is a question that you feel is very personal and you don't want to share that with the world, we totally understand. Get a hold of Louise. Louise can either fire that up and find the person for you, or connect with Lindsay or whoever would want to be able to do that for you and give you the resources you need. Thank you both very much for joining us. Our next Demystify Your Transition is again about finances, and we're going to be talking about wills and some of the planning that you may be wanting to consider as you move into your next stage of life. So thank you very much for joining us, and enjoy your day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.